It's 5:30, sitting at breakfast. I feel absolutely destroyed. Must have been the shortest night of the whole week.
All I could do was control the damage. I knew Rod was riding away from me. I couldn't see him anymore. I knew he was gaining time. And this is a really shitty moment because you can't do anything but just go as hard as you can. And that's what I was doing. So I lost time, virtually dropping down one spot in the GC. But today's race wasn't over yet. What's up guys? What's up cycling fanatics? This is episode 6 of my Haute Route Alps documentary. Today we raced 120 kilometers from Briançon to Cuneo, where I am right now. It is smoking hot. I'm sweating like a pig. I try to find a spot in the shade. We had to do 2 very big climbs today, the Col du Agnel and the Agnel, the highest summit of all week at 2,760 meters. This elevation is really giving me a hard time, and if stage 4 with the Galibier wasn't the queen stage, then today sure as hell was, because it was a tough day. Rolling down to the start for the 6th time this week. There's a first time for everything, and this is the first time I'm racing 6 days in a row. And of course we have tomorrow. I did the Dolomites 5-day stage race, Pyrenees 5-day stage race. You know about waking up and eating, it gets harder and harder every day. I remember last year I could hardly eat my breakfast on day 5, but it's so important. The nutrition is probably the biggest factor of the week. If you can eat enough, you'll be one step ahead on the rest. Today's stage is only 1 kilometer neutral, and then we start straight away on Col du Agnel. I've not done any warm-ups this week, but now I'm just gonna roll nice and easy for like 10 minutes to just start on my body a little bit. At the finish.
Good luck, Jasper. Good race, buddy.
How are you doing?
Good. Hanging in there for an old guy.
Good luck, man.
Not too bad. You too.
Good luck.
You too.
Larry, what's up? Good luck.
Good, yeah.
Getting so many cool comments and replies, man. A lot of people are coming over to say that, hey, they checked out my videos to prepare for Haute Route. And if you're one of those guys, man, if you get motivated after watching these videos, please give me a comment down below. I really appreciate it. I read all the comments.
How are you doing today, Jasper? Same.
Tired.
But you're a little bit humble because you say you're okay and then you go and like kick
I
ass
gotta
and
fucking
just...
smash it.
You are gonna fucking smash it!
After my very strong time trial from yesterday, I'm now at the 6th spot in the GC. Only 5 seconds in front of Rod, who I've been battling all week. So today really was gonna be a big battle for the GC again. And as we rolled out of the Haute Route village, there was only 1 kilometer of neutral before we would go up the Col du Agnel. Col du Agnel is 19 kilometers long, finishing at 2,400 meters. It started off pretty flat, but it got steeper and steeper and steeper along we got further up the climb. And you know, the beginning pace wasn't that hard. I think everybody was just so tired, and I was already having a hard time to keep up. I saw my power meter, and you know, doing 340 watts already felt like a million. So we stayed together for quite a bit, and I actually saw a few faces that I haven't seen before this week. So you never know what happens. A couple guys who maybe were not able to keep up with the pace before are now feeling very strong, so they were in the front group. Just like all other days, I try to keep my power as constant as I can. I kind of had an idea from the time trial yesterday how much I could push on a climb that goes all the way up to 2,400 meters. At that elevation, calculating my FTP would be around 350 when I would not be adapted. Kind of becoming a science, but more it's like a feeling. During the climb you can feel how much you can push. And at 340 watts I felt kind of okay, but also it was very tough. So keeping it steady, at some point, first couple guys started ramping up the pace. kilometer, constant 360 of meer. And I could see him right away. And I made the very conscious decision not to go after him. The climb was still very, very long, and we still had a very long day, especially with Col du Agnel coming up after this. I figured if I push too hard now, I'm gonna blow up and I'm gonna be suffering just like on the Galibier 2 days ago. So just keeping steady pace, and Jason was doing a great job again pacing me. He was riding very steady at a pace that I could follow. I was in his wheel and just pushing and keeping it steady as I could. And we were trying to gauge our time towards Rod and the other guys, and it was around 15 seconds. Rod was up there with Mattia, and me and Jason were starting to close in more and more, and at some point we just joined them and we rode together a bit. Every second counts in Haute Route. Remember, I'm only 5 seconds in front of Rod, so he freaking sprinted out there towards the line, and I was doing the same. So we're going side by side, full gas to the top, to the end of the chrono. Izoard, 2400 meters.
Got him to top 1 hour.
The only day I didn't check the weather, and it was getting pretty chilly up the climb. So for climbing performance, it's way better. But at the top, it was gonna be really cold. I didn't think about bringing a jacket. Dressed up with a raincoat for descent because it's quite cold. The descent is neutral, but we're still rushing. So on today's stage, there were 2 neutral segments, and that was the descent of the Izoard and the descent of the Agnel. But the last 45 kilometers were sort of false flat downhill, and those were timed. So I kind of knew that if I would not lose too much time on those climbs, maybe there was a chance for me to make it up in a descent. So it was still a very long day, and first we had to conquer the Agnel. We're on the descent, but there's a little uphill. It's the first day that it's not really hot. It must have been close to 10 degrees Celsius at the top. You're coming up completely sweaty, so the descent is really cold. So I'm really happy with this plastic cape.
You disgust me and inspire me at the same time, bro.
Oh, I'm really cold, man. So rolling down together, regrouping at the bottom to get ready for the Col du Agnel. Now this climb was the highest summit of all week. It was higher than the Galibier, it's way higher than the Alpe d'Huez, it's higher than the Glandon, it's higher than the Croix de Fer. It was 20 kilometers, but the average gradient was only 6.7 because there were a few dips. So it started not super steep, but I knew it was going to be flattened out. I was really doing my best to keep up with the pace, and I had a really hard time. I pushed all out on the Izoard to stay with the rest. And now again, I felt like the Galibier. My power started fading as we would get closer and closer towards the top. I just feel like above maybe 2,200 meters, every kilo counts double. I can really notice a significant difference between climbing at near sea level and climbing above 2,000 meters. I need to produce so much more energy, and I burn through so much more oxygen that at some point, there's gonna be a bottleneck in that system, right? And the higher you go, the lower the oxygen pressure, so the less oxygen you have available, so the less power I can push. And it's not like you can try harder, it's just impossible to go faster. And then when Michele, the first guy in the GC, started increasing the pace, Rod jumps towards it and he tried to keep up. Again, I just knew I was not able to do that. Since there was a flatter part coming up, I thought that I would stay with the group, and on the flat, I would be able to catch back before it started to get really steep again towards the top. That strategy didn't really work. You know, approaching the flatter part, the other guys were hesitant to pull. They were just not pulling through. We didn't get as much, you know, pace as I thought we would get. By the way, it seems like it's flat or it's going down, but it's not. And all I could do was control the damage. I knew Rod was riding away from me. I couldn't see him anymore. I knew he was gaining time. And this is a really shitty moment because you can't do anything but just go as hard as you can. And that's what I was doing. It was about 5K to the top and I could notice the power was dropping, the speed was going down a little bit, and it was all or nothing for me. If I would not start pushing more and ride away from these guys, I could just see the gap to Rod get bigger and bigger and bigger. So I increased the speed, I pushed a little bit more and I rode away. It took a little bit until a Swiss guy and Samantha, the first lady in the GC, to actually catch up with me. And I just started hanging their wheel. Towards the top, as we were going on these switchbacks, I could feel the wind. So I was trying to shelter a little bit behind this guy and just try to hold his wheel. I was pushing out everything I had and I could just see the distance go down from 3 kilometers to 2 kilometers, and I was calculating in my head how much longer I would have. So I lost time, virtually dropping down one spot in the GC. But today's race wasn't over yet. From Angel, I took this space blanket because it was super cold and I wasn't carrying a jacket, like I said. And I just stuffed that under my jersey.
Okay, like a Michelin man. Nice space blanket.
Stay warm. And we started descending. It was all neutral. Fantastic, spectacular and awesome looking views. This descent was very, very long and it took a while until it started warming up again. So after like 20K, I could get rid of this golden space blanket and start to think about a strategy for this last 35K. And at some point, me and Rob were just taking it easy and they went a bit faster than us. And as we arrived at the start of the chrono, there was also a feed zone. I thought they would be stopping, but they left, they were gone. So it was me and Rod standing there. And I look at Rod, it's like, okay, dude, you wanna go? And he wanted to wait a little bit for other guys, and I was fine. And another couple guys were coming down, and we thought we had a quite okay group. We went through the chrono, and from that time, it's racing towards this finish. And the first part was quite steep, it was all going downhill, so hardly any pedaling, a lot of coasting, and there was just no organization in this group. I don't know what was going on, but I think some guys were not really used to riding in a group. Samantha was there, she is 38 kilos, so anytime she would get to the front, she wasn't able to, you know, overtake the next guy, so it was a mess. We just didn't get our shit together. I was chatting to Mattia. You know, he's my homeboy in this week. He is from Cuneo, so he knew the roads very well. At some point, I was like, right now I need to go. It's about 15K towards the finish and I need to make up time. So I need distance to make up time. So at that moment, I attacked and I went full gas. So I was pushing 500 watts with Mattia in my wheel. And at some point I was like, okay, you take a pull. And I look back and he wasn't there. He couldn't follow my wheel. So he was already back with the group. So I was by myself against 6 others. I just started hammering it down. I went full gas. And right now we're at about 500 meters of elevation. So I'm getting my power back. The further we go down to sea level, the better I feel. So I was like, it's all out right now. And I look back and I see the group, but they weren't gonna be working. So it's me against Rod, 15 kilometers to go. My gap started increasing more and more and more. Haute Route car passes me at some point. This was maybe 5K towards the finish, and they told me I got 40 seconds. So I was like, 40 seconds is not enough. So I just kept on pushing very hard. And there was one climb left, one climb to the finish of stage 6. This was perfect for me. It was only short climb, like 2.5 to 3 kilometers at 6%. So very good for a big guy like me. By the time I saw the other group come up that climb, they were already shattered into pieces, and Mattia raced to the top first, and then I saw Rod come in.
Later.
Rod gained quite a bit of time on that massive climb, but the flatlands, man, flatlands are my game. So dropped them, got that 20K transition to the Haute Route village now. Let's find out how much I gained back and then see how we are doing in the GC. So, what happened today? I got 7th in today's stage. But the most important thing was how much time I would gain or lose in the GC. With Rod attacking me on the Agnel, I lost about a minute. But on the last 50K, I got it all back. We've done 6 days of racing, a total race time of 15 hours something, and there's 30 seconds between us. Tomorrow is the last stage. We're riding from here to Nice. The last day, everything can happen. Make sure to check out tomorrow's video so you know how this is gonna end. See ya!